and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Sarah Drake.
And I'm Briana Jones. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Athletics.
This past weekend saw several upsets, including Auburn beating Alabama and number 2 Miami losing to Pitt. But one team held strong, and that's the Troy Trojans, thanks to a blowout victory defeating Sunbelt rival, the Texas State Bobcats. The Trojan football team scored more points against an FBS opponent than any time in school history when it beat the Bobcats of Texas State 62-9 in a Sunbelt Conference matchup in Veterans Memorial Stadium on Black Friday. And head coach Neil Brown says this was the Trojans' best game so far.
This was a big win. This was a game that it was without a doubt the best we played all year in all 3 phases. We could see it coming. You know, we had a really good bye week. Had 3 light but really spirited practices, and then this week, probably the most fun that we've had as a staff coaching this group.
Quarterback Brandon Silvers threw for 380 yards and 4 touchdowns on 22 of 30 passing attempts, and Brown explains the reason why he wanted to establish the passing game early.
They've played good defense versus the run all year, but they've given up a lot of passing yards, and so we felt like coming in that we wanted to get the passing game rolling. We felt like that was going to be our best opportunity to get off to a fast start.
And during the game, every player that was dressed and eligible to play was able to see playing time. And Brown mentions a few players that he thought did good.
Darius Wesley showed up on defense. Kevin Nixon, he showed up and was productive. If you look at it on offense, Richard Hallman had a great play, and then several of those offensive linemen, James Peach, thought he went in and did a nice job. Dylan Bradshaw played the most football on offense that he's played. So I was glad those guys deserved an opportunity to show what they can do, and they got that in the second half.
Friday's game also marked the last game the 21 seniors on the team will play in the Vet. And after the game, Brown talked about why he was proud of them.
Special group to me individually, special group to the staff. I'm proud of how they handled today. There's a lot of emotions that go when you play your last home game, and I thought they bought into the fact that we were celebrating them. This wasn't a sad day. This is an opportunity to celebrate.
So far this season, the Trojan football team has worn 11 different uniform combinations. The Trojans change between their cardinal gray, black, and white ensemble pieces. Kurt Kelly introduces us to the man responsible for putting the combos together, as well as the rest of the team's equipment.
While he may not score the touchdowns, make the tackles, or even call the shots, Ian Greer is as important to the Troy football team just like a player or even a coach. Ian has been Troy football's head equipment manager for now 2 seasons, but has been on the staff for even longer.
I was a student manager for 2 years, a graduate assistant for 2 years, and now I've been the director of equipment for the past 2 years.
With him being outnumbered 120-1, Ian looks to students on campus to be part of his staff for the same opportunity that he received not too many years ago.
Another avenue we started was I went into the hospitality sports management program and started going to the first-year classes and inviting those students to take on this opportunity, because it's a lot of experience for their field, and that's actually what my degree's in, and it just opened up so many doors for me to bounce up and just come to this job.
Ian Greer is not only the head football equipment manager, but he is also the head equipment manager for all 16 sports teams that are played here on Troy's campus.
I'm in charge of ordering all their gear, apparel, equipment, jerseys, everything. It's a lot of, like I said, it's just a lot of work. You gotta keep things organized. You gotta know when, certain deadlines are. You gotta know how much time it takes for a uniform to be made and when these teams need this stuff. But it's also, when you see these teams play and be successful and look good, it gives you a lot of joy.
Ian loves what he does and looks forward to doing it for a long time, and says if anyone's interested in joining the staff, he is available from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays. Kurt Kelly, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Moving things from the gridiron to the hardwood, where the men's basketball team played their first game in the Outall Rupp Classic and fell 70-62 to number 8 Kentucky in Rupp Arena during Thanksgiving break. After trailing by as much as 21, Troy went on a rally that began with a 3-pointer from Wesley Person with under the 10 minutes left. From there, it was Troy's trio of guards in Person, Kevin Baker, and B.J. Miller, along with forward Jordan Varnado, that continued to chip away at the lead. Back-to-back baskets by Varnado cut the deficit to 12 with 4:54 before Miller knocked down 2 free throws and Baker made a 3 to get the lead down to single digits at 9. Kentucky scored just 1 basket in the final 2 minutes 46 seconds to provide Troy the opportunity to stun the Wildcats and earn the program's first win over a ranked opponent. However, the Trojans were only able to get 1 more basket and a free throw in the closing minutes to lock in the deficit at 8.
In their second game of the tournament, Wesley Person exploded for 22 points to lead the Trojans to a 73-65 win over East Tennessee State University. Jordan Varnado came out of the gate strong in the first half as he powered his way to 10 points before halftime. The junior's powerful inside presence gave Troy a 32-25 advantage at the break. The momentum continued at the start of the second half as Alex Hicks scored while being fouled and added on a free throw. However, ETSU slowly drained the Trojans' lead down to 4 before a Varnado three-pointer on the ensuing possession silenced the crowd and bumped the lead back up to 7. That is where the lead would drop down to 5 and Person would take over the game. With 7:45 remaining, the senior drained a three-pointer from the corner, and just 26 seconds later, he shook off a man to hit another 3 from the top of the key. He was just getting started as he hit 3 more from long range in the span of 2 minutes and 33 seconds to shoot the Trojans' lead up to 17 in the blink of an eye. All 22 of Person's points came in the second half.
The team then returned to Trojan Arena Monday night in victorious form. My co-anchor Briana Jones has the highlights.
On Monday night, the Troy men's basketball team looked to become 3-2 as a part of the Adolph Rupp Classic and 4-3 overall. The men got to come back home from Tennessee to host a far opponent, Delaware State. The Trojans were fired up, owning possession from the tip-off, but did not score the first 2 points. However, the Trojans quickly bounced back, and as head coach Phil Cunningham says, they took care of business.
Well, it was one of those take-care-of-business type games. We needed to come home and reestablish a level of play at home that it takes to be a winning type team at home, because you got to protect your home court. We were good on the road. Our preparation, our focus, everything was good on the road. But it's easier to do on the road because you have less distractions, and we needed to come home and do it. And I thought the guys responded well and, again, took care of business.
The Trojans never got behind the Hornets as senior Juan Davis Jr., Wesley Person, and Sean Hawkins all ended the night with game highs. Davis racked in 16 points following Person's 22 and Hopkins 16. Hopkins as well as B.J. Miller ended the night with 0 turnovers.
And I thought Juan Davis brought that energy back again that he had at East Tennessee that's really made a difference. He's playing at a really good level in terms of energy and production. And but we're definitely, we're thin right now with Jordan's deal.
And with the absence of junior forward Jordan Varnado, luckily the Trojans still had multiple players who stepped up to the plate in his absence. Varnado unfortunately had to sit this game out due to a foot injury. This injury also caused him to miss action in the preseason. Luckily for Varnado, his teammates got the job done without him, with the final score being 95-64. For the second time in the week, the Trojan basketball team faced an opponent in Trojan Arena Wednesday night. Janae Jordan has the highlights.
Wednesday night, the men's basketball team swept past UIC with a score of 87-66 in the finale of the Adolph Rupp Classic. B.J. Miller had a standout one-handed slam dunk that had the crowd roaring. Freshman Javen Johnson had his third double-digit scoring game of the year with 10 points. But Person stole the show, scoring 18 points in the first half and finishing out the game with a total of 27 points.
Came out early, I got one up, missed it, but and I think a few trips later I finally hit one, and then the coach ran another play for me, hit another one, and then once I got it going, it felt like I just couldn't miss, and I just tried to keep it going throughout the game in the first half, throughout the second half too.
The Trojans have played 8 games in 20 days, and Persons and Davis talked about how their schedules have been pretty rigorous on their bodies.
Oh yeah, we've had a tough stretch playing a lot of games. I think Coach just said we played 8 games in 20 days, and it's been tough on our legs, but we fought through it, and we played hard and finished out.
Oh man, Coach just said we played 8 games in 20 days. So, I mean, that's a hard schedule with the travel and everything that we've been doing. Just these 2 games. And you can see tonight we had a couple guys who was kind of fatigued. Including me myself, which is normal for people that's been playing a lot of minutes.
Coach Cunningham said he will be interested to see how the Trojans play against in-state rival UAB due to the fact that their lead score player Jordan Varnado is out with the injury.
I've always always thought of UAB as a really strong traditionally program, and they are. They're a really good team right now. They've got a bunch of veteran players on that team, and they've had our number, and we've got to figure out a way to try to be in the game with them, and it'll be interesting from our standpoint to see what happens with Jordan. Obviously, he makes us a lot better team.
The Trojans will be back in action on Tuesday, December 5th, when they take on in-state rival, the UAB Blazers. Reporting from Trojan Arena, Trojan Sports Now.
And now passing things over to the women's basketball court, where the team took on Ole Miss in a losing effort at the Pavilion last Tuesday during Thanksgiving break. Despite a strong second-half effort, the Trojans fell short 96-93 to Ole Miss. The Trojans came out of halftime red hot, opening on a 9-0 run, and eventually trimmed a 17-point deficit down to 5 in just over 4 minutes. After the Rebels built the margin out to 15 points, Troy got to work on the play of back-to-back jumpers from Kayla Robinson and Amber Rivers. Janiyah Staniford added a pair of free throws, while Skyland Holmes made it a 95-93 game when she converted a layup and drew the foul. Trailing by 3 with just 17 seconds to play, the Trojans got off a shot at the buzzer that rolled off to the Rebels, sealing the game. However, Troy did out-rebound Ole Miss 55-53 and held a team that entered the game 11th in the nation in three-point field goals to just 3 on the day.
The Troy women's basketball team had a record night on the road Monday against Tennessee State. Troy forced a program record 48 turnovers and registered 25 steals, second most in school history, en route to a 95-66 win over the Tigers. Harriet Winchester led the Trojans with 17 points, while Skyland Holmes posted her second consecutive double-double with 12 points and 14 rebounds to go along with a game-high 5 assists. The Trojans led the entire game and dominated in the paint, outscoring the Tigers 54-30. Troy entered the game 8th in the nation, averaging 91.7 points, and has gotten 88 points in every game this season.
The Trojans softball team and head coach Beth Mullins have announced its 2018 spring schedule. The team will start their 2018 campaign at home as it hosts the Troy University Tournament. The Trojans will host another tournament during the third weekend of the season, February 23rd through the 25th. The Trojans will also travel to 2 tournaments during the season. The Trojans will play in the Arizona Tournament and wrap up tournament play at the D9 Citrus Classic in Orlando. The team's non-conference schedule features 2 home games against SEC powerhouses Auburn and Mississippi State. The Trojans will also host FSU and FAMU. Sunbelt Conference competition will begin on home turf for the Trojans. A split series against rival South Alabama will begin with 1 game at home before wrapping up the regular season with a doubleheader against the Jags in Mobile. Troy will travel to face conference opponents ULM, Georgia State, Appalachian State, and UTA before wrapping up the season at the Sunbelt Tournament. Still to come on Trojan Sports Now, we'll have a preview of the football team's matchup against Arkansas State.
But first, Sarah sits down with soccer's Lauren Aldridge. Stick around for more Trojan Sports Now.